Yes. Good evening, guys. So, today's live session is on EC2 features, and the session 2 will be taken by our senior cloud trainer, Mr. Ramesh Naik. So, over to Ramesh, sir. Sir.
Hello guys, good evening. So now let's discuss about EC2 feature. Okay, we already know what is EC2 service. It's elastic computing service. This allows you to create virtual servers on cloud. Today let's discuss about some features provided by EC2. So while creating EC2 instance, we can select the instance type. So what is mean by instance type? It's like based on how much CPU you want, how much memory you want. Okay, and based on what kind of CPU you want. Do you want like a Intel CPU, or do you want like a AMD CPU or some gravitation processor? Okay, like that. So based on your requirement, okay, based on what requirement is there for your application, like a specific quantity of CPU is required, or specific quantity of RAM required, okay, or specific type of CPU required, okay, CPU type required. Based on that, you can select a EC2 instance. There are different type of EC2 instances available from AWS. So if you look at AWS official information, means from their documentation, there we can see different EC2 instance types. Like there are different categories, like you can see like general purpose, compute optimized, and memory optimized, accelerated computing, storage optimized. So you can consider using general purpose category. Let's say you want like a general purpose level performance. Okay, like you want to run like general web server or general performance based database server or app server something, then you can go with general purpose category. If your application requires more CPU power, it consumes more CPU cycles, in that case you can select compute optimizer. If your application requires more memory means here the RAM. Okay, your application requires more memory, okay, to process your application content, means application related data, then you can plan for memory optimizer. If your application requires like a more graphics processing power, okay, then you can go for accelerated computing. Or it requires okay heavy intensive read write operation for the data, then you can plan for storage optimizer. Okay, in this each type again we have different subtypes here. So in general purpose, we can see different types again. So these are the like family of instance types. Under general purpose, again, there are different types. These things are called as families, like a T family, like a M family. Okay, so when you look at a particular type here, so for example, let's say you look at the T2. So 2 represents a family type. Okay, and T represents a family type here. 2 represents generation. Okay, and coming to looking at the T3, T represents family type and it is third generation. Means from family T, it is the third generation. And then next keyword, whatever you see, that represents like optionally CPU information. For example, you look at the T2 series, okay, this family, T family, and the generation type is 2. And here we have T3 family. So family type is T only, but generation is next generation. Means after this generation is there. So either you go with the T2 family or T3 family. So this family types comes with the Intel processor. And here we can see which Intel processor they're going to use. Like in case T2, so this one uses from Intel, it uses like a Xeon scalable processor based on this code name, which can provide up to 3.3 gigahertz CPU cycles. Coming to T3, so this one uses Skylake, okay, coded CPU, okay, which provides like up to 3.1 gigahertz performance. And other things you can see the different about like how much CPU it's going to provide, how much memory it's going to provide here. So time to time, AWS adds different family types and different generation type. So basically, what is the difference between T2 and T3? So T3 provides better performance and a better price compared to T2 series. Think it's like a generation of hardware. Like when you look at like a normal system, we can say like a i3 processor, i5 processor based system, right? Like i5 is better generation, means better hardware. means better performance compared to i3 processor. Okay, that kind of generation you can consider here. Okay, so T3 with the Intel processor and T3 which provides AMD processor, which is going to use AMD EPYC 7 series processor here. Okay, later on we can see like M4 series, M family generation is 4, then M family generation is 5. Okay, with Intel processor, and M5, that's a M family, and it is with means it's going to provide which processor? AMD EPYC processor. Okay, if you want to run very general workload, like you want very basic performance, you can plan for T series, T family series. Okay, T3 is better than T2, T3 is better than T3 over here. Okay, so this T family provides very baseline CPU performance, and that performance can burst. It can go burst, but you do not get like maximum performance for CPU. Okay, in case if you want like dedicated CPU performance for your instance, then don't go for T series, go for other series like M family. Okay, and where you can see M4 family. Okay, like that. So when you look at like the T2 series, what you see here, like you see the different instance type there under that family. T2 Nano, where you get one CPU core and 500 MB memory. You get one CPU core. Are you going to get an entire cycle from that CPU? No. You are going to get 3 credits per hour. So it's about like a behind scene, whatever then hypervisor is there, right? So that allocating CPU cycles to your VM. Okay, so basically you get like 3 credits per hour and it can burst. It can burst. So, but it's not going to guarantee, entire CPU utilization all the time here. Even you look at other categories like T3, there you can see CPU credits per hour, and you look at a T3 series, and you can see CPU credits per hour. If you want to take advantage of maximum CPU, means entire CPU cycle provided by particular CPU from instance type, you plan for other series, like M4 series. And here we can see it's going to provide 2 virtual CPUs and about 8 GB RAM. So you get whatever entire CPU clock speed available from those CPU here. Okay, so you see the different instance type here, different configuration. You can see 2 virtual CPUs you get and 8 GB RAM you get, and storage type is EBS storage you get, and you get a dedicated EBS storage access, which is about 450. And coming to network performance, you can see moderate performance or high performance, and you go to some instance type, you can see a dedicated network performance. Let's say, for example, you want to run some web server, with a general purpose workload. You do not want any high-end performance. You want to just run a general purpose server. You can plan for general purpose category. So let's say you want to go with a low budget, but you want some kind of moderate performance. Instead of planning for T series, you can start with M4, or you can start with M5 if M4 category not working properly for you. So let's say I go for M4. Let's say I go with this one, which is M4 large, which provides 2 CPU cores and about 8 GB RAM. Okay, so you run the server and you observe the workload. If everything is fine, running fine, then it's okay. Maybe let's say the system is overloaded. Okay, CPU overloaded and memory 100% utilized. Then you can plan for another instance type. Like you can plan for like M4 X large, like that. So how to choose which instance type to use? First of all, see what is your application requirement. Okay, it requires like a moderate consumption of resources. Moderate consumption of resources means the hardware resource like CPU cycles, memory, those things. In that case, you go select general purpose category. No, your application is compute intensive, means it requires more compute power. Then you can plan for compute optimizer. Okay, then it requires more memory, then memory optimizer. It requires graphic processing, then plan for this accelerated computing over there. Okay, so you launch one instance type by making a better guess. Then you can switch to another instance like M4 to like M4 large. Then you switch to M4X large. Maybe let's say initially you launch an instance which is M4X large type. End of the day, you are seeing you are just utilizing like 30% of CPU and maybe utilizing like let's say 30% of like memory. You can fall back to the previous type like M4 large. Like M4 large, 2 CPU cores, 8 GB RAM, and M4X large, that is extra. So that is double than this M4 large instance, like where you get 4 CPU cores and 16 GB RAM like that. So look at the instance categories here and look at the different families. Under that family, look for the particular instance type and see how much CPUs cores you are getting, how much RAM you are getting, and what kind of storage performance you are getting and network performance you are getting. So based on that, you need to select a particular instance type here. And if you go with computer optimizer, we can see like different categories like C series. Okay, see different compute series. We can see C4, sorry, C5. Next one is C5, then C5N, like C5A that comes with AMD processor, and C5 that comes with like Intel processor, and C4 that also comes with Intel processor here. And we can see the next categories like C6 generation. So this one coming with gravitation processor. And we can see comparison here. Okay, so this is a gravitation processor. They deliver up to 40% better price performance compared to previous generation, which is like C5, like C6GN and C6I. Okay, so different families over there. And we can see instance type. So there we can see more CPU cores we get. More CPU core we get here. So for example, if I go to compute optimizer, C7G, we can see how many CPU cores we can get here, like HPC 6E. And you can see how many CPU cores you get. And if you go for like memory optimizer, you can see instances comes with more quantity of RAM, like R6G series, like R represents RAM here, X represents extreme memory. Like R6G, we can see like the R6GD metal instance that comes with 64 CPU cores, 512 MB RAM. And looking at high memory instance, even we can see terabytes of memory. See this instance coming with 3072 GB RAM. Like this instance type coming with like 24 GB, 576 RAM. Okay, so you select the instance type. Okay, and what OS you are going to launch. So what operating system you are going to run inside the EC2 instance, and what software you are going to run inside the EC2 instance. So for that, we depend on AMI, Amazon Machine Image. So AWS provides AMI. Think it's like an image file. Image file, that is operating system image file. So you can get image which includes only operating system. You can also get image which includes OS plus pre-installed software. The software like a machine learning software or Docker container software or deep learning software, or maybe like MySQL database pre-installed, like that. So you select AMI based on your requirement, then launch EC2 instance type. Later on, so you want to install any other application, so you can do install. Just launch VM by selecting choice of AMI, then selecting choice of instance type. Once it finishes booting, you log in and you do whatever the configuration you want to do. Like as you do configuration on system locally, similarly you can do configuration on your system. The difference is the server running in remote location, so you access remotely.
Excuse me, sir. So I have a question here. So as you told, that we can use the application, if at all we have something in our local device, we can use that in the cloud as well, right? So do we need any license or anything, or is it free to use?
If the application is commercial application, then in that case there will be separate charge. Whatever the application you are planning to use on cloud, if it is commercial, you will be charged for that. So for example, let's say you launch an AMI that includes software as well. So that includes OS plus some kind of application. Let's say you are launching a EC2 instance by selecting AMI. Let's say that AMI includes OS plus a commercial application. For that, what AWS is going to do, it's going to charge for operating system and also for commercial application. Let's say maybe on-premise you are already using. In on-premise location, so you are using some kind of XYZ application already installed part of your system. And let's say you want to use that application and same license in cloud, you can do that. Okay, you can do that. Just log into VM and install your application and provide whatever license code is there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And what about the storage? So there are two types of storage available primarily. Like we can have persistent storage for our EC2 instance, that is EBS, elastic block storage. Think it's like a virtual hard disk. Okay, and you have another storage which is called as storage volume, and another terminology we can say it's like instant store. It's like instant store. So you launch a EC2 instance. It's nothing but virtual machine. And you can have two kind of storage for your VM or only one type of storage. Like a persistent storage you get for every EC2 instance, that is a EBS, elastic block storage. It's a virtual hard disk. And coming to instant storage, that is the temporary hard disk that directly attached to your VM. So what is the difference between EBS and this instant store? Here it is. Okay, so let's say this is a physical server you have. This is a physical machine you have, and this is the instance you launch, the virtual machine. And we attach EBS volume. We attach what? EBS volume. It's a virtual hard disk. So here your virtual machine is on different physical server, means on different host, and your EBS storage is from different host. So this is some physical machine. So where your EC2 instance launched, placed, and if coming to the EBS volume, it is on different server, or we can say it's on different physical machine. Okay, that may be like ISKC server, some kind of thing. So from there, okay, a volume will be provisioned, it attached to your EC2 instance. Means whatever this EBS volume attached to your EC2 instance, right? It's not directly attached. It attached through the network. Which network? AWS network. So within AWS availability zone, all devices are connected, all servers are connected together using fiber links, high-speed fiber links. When we say create EBS volume, it will be provisioned in that physical server. Let's say I say 100 GB, a 100 GB portion will be taken from this storage server, and it will be attached as network drive to your virtual machine. So your VM sees it has like directly attached storage, but it is not attached directly, attached through network. So whenever your EC2 instance, like your OS or application writing data to EBS volume, it's written to that location. When you are reading it, it is going to read from that location. Okay, based on whatever the throughput available, okay, whatever the EBS throughput we get, right? EBS bandwidth. So it will take the time, like it will provide how much data you can write, how much data you can read in a given second from that particular given seconds. Okay. And it also depends on latency, somewhat latency. We take any distance we take, there will be some kind of latency will be there. So there will be some latency when it's going to access EBS volume to perform read or write operation. Okay, that is a EBS. And coming to instance storage. Instance storage. Okay, that's another type here. EBS provides persistent storage and the storage volume. Okay, you can call that one as like an instant storage, other terminology you can use. Storage volume or instant storage. What is it? Let's say this is a host machine, means this is a physical machine where your EC2 instance means your virtual machine. Instant storage or storage volumes are directly attached storage. Directly attached storage to that physical machine. That can be like solid state drive or it can be magnetic hard disk drive. It can be solid state drive or it can be magnetic hard disk drive. Okay, it is a direct storage, like a direct hard disk attached to this particular physical machine, and we can make this directly attached storage available to our EC2 instance. See, as it is directly attached, it provides very low latency. In this case, we are accessing the VBM based on how much EBS bandwidth performance provided for the EC2 instance type, we get that much performance. When you look at EC2 instance type, we can see how much EBS bandwidth we get, like lower performance, moderate performance, or exact bandwidth performance, and somewhat latency will be there. But in this case, it's going to provide very lower latency. Now, do I use like EBS volume and like instance storage for every type of EC2 instance? No. Answer is no. You create EC2 instance, the instance will have EBS storage. It will have EBS volume, at least one volume, where like root volume, you can say the first volume where your OS is loaded, and you want to add additional EBS volume, you can attach. And coming to instance storage, based on the type of instance you can select, it will tell you, are you going to get instance storage or not? Okay, it will tell you. Okay, like let's say instance storage is not available for every EC2 instance type. Okay, it's available for few EC2 instance types only. And number of storage volume available, that depends on which EC2 instance type you are launching. Okay, now when to use EBS volume and when to use your magnetic. So you want persistent storage, go with EBS. Like you shut down machine, start machine, you do not want to lose the data, you can go with EBS. So coming to this instance storage is ephemeral storage, means it's temporary. As long as your machine is running, your data will be there. Even you restart that virtual machine, your data will be there. But if you stop and start, your data is gone. Okay, whatever data stored on instance storage is there, it will be gone. Okay, and coming to, in case like a machine failure occurred, let's say that VM, that physical server, there is some hardware issue related to hard disk, something that, okay, machine level failure is there, your data is gone. So you cannot retrieve that data back. Okay, so when you launch a VM with both the storage, you have EBS volume and you also have what? Instance storage. Instance storage. So it's the permanent until you delete data manually or delete EBS volume, and it is temporary. But restarting VM won't cause any data loss from instance. Okay, once these things are attached, you can treat them as normal volume within your operating system. Okay, let's say this is a Windows OS you are running. So let's say this is your C drive, like from EBS volume, you got C drive, or you created multiple drive. And coming to instance store, you can recognize them as the different drive only. Okay, so you can write data to, okay, your instance store. But anyhow, they are identified as ephemeral storage. They are identified as ephemeral storage from your operating system window there. Okay, so you have any data in instance store, okay, or in storage volume. If you want to back up the data, you have to do it manually. So use custom backup application from your OS, and using that, you back up the data. In case about EBS volume backup data, if you want to back up EBS volume data, you can do it manually, or you can use AWS side solution that's called as EBS snapshot. EBS snapshot. This feature you can use, take backup and restore your data in case you lose the data, or maybe EBS volume becomes unavailable. Okay, when you are using EBS snapshot, it's going to store data in S3 facility. S3 is another storage facility, which is object-based storage, and it is high available and high durable. Because when you are writing data to S3, by default, your data return to multiple data centers within region. So which provides more high availability, more durability. Okay, anytime you want to restore, you can restore it. Okay, in coming session, so we have topic where we talk about how we can back up, how we can restore our virtual machines. Okay, so when to use EBS volume, when to use instance store. In case, let's say you are going to run like a machine learning process on your VM, and maybe like a data analytics job. Okay, maybe some kind of simulations, okay, mechanical simulations, like those kind of application. So there, okay, your application need to, okay, read large quantity of the data. So in that case, instead of storing the data in volume, reading from there, okay, we better store it inside storage volume. So we say copy our data or pull data to, okay, this storage volume, and we can configure our machine learning application or whatever simulator application, analytics tool to directly access the data from storage volume to perform analytics. Okay, analytics, okay, which will be sending a huge number of requests, okay, that requires, okay, a lot of bandwidth to access the particular content. And how I can identify which instance types comes with the storage volume. So for that, again, we navigate to same page, instance type, and here we can see. So we will go with the general purpose, and here we can see instance type. For example, let's say we'll go with M5 series. And here we can see here, instance storage, like you can have only EBS volume, and we can see here 175 GB NVMe SSD. Whatever the EBS volume is there, right? While creating EBS volume, we can select what kind of EBS volume type you want, like a magnetic based EBS volume or SSD based EBS volume. But coming to instance storage, okay, they come with like either SSD or they come like magnetic HDD. So here we see M5D large that coming with one directly attached storage volume. Storage volume. This is available to your virtual machine. And apart from that, you also get EBS volume. Like at least one EBS volume will be there. You launch this M5D large EC2 instance, you get a root volume that used as your operating system volume. So for that, it's going to use EBS. Apart from that, additionally, you get one instance storage, means storage volume. And you look at other categories like in this kind of instance type, M5D 4X large, you get two 300 GB volumes, so which are instance storage. And if you go for other things, like say, for example, compute optimized instance, to select some category. So you see what kind of where is it, like R5, like you can see, in case R5DX large, you get SSD storage like that. And coming to like if you go for like a dense storage, like storage optimizer, if I go with the D2 series, and here we can see directly attached 3 instance storages. Okay, each one is about with 2000 GB. They are like magnetic hard disk type. So from this page, so you can identify, okay, which instance type provides storage. For example, let's say I go with the EC2 console. Okay, let's log into EC2 console, and we try to launch some instance, and we can see that how we can select instance storage. So let's navigate to instances. Let's say I'm going to launch instance. Okay, so I'm not going to launch instance, but I'm going to show that option like VM1 and select AMI. Let's say it's Amazon Linux 2, or if you want to select other AMI, you can select. Coming to instance type, T2 micro. For T2 micro, we don't get instance storage. And when you look at the storage section, we see here, we have one 8 GB volume. Okay, that is EBS storage. We can select the type of EBS from here, which provides different performance. And if I want to add more volume, I can add. So like another volume, I can select like I want SSD storage, like or very low price based cold hard disk drive. I can specify how much storage I want here. Like volume size I can specify here. And I don't see any other option over here, like attaching instance storage, because instance storage available based on instance type. Okay, for example, I will go select like particular instance type, which provides instance storage. Like let's select it, and let's say I'm going to look for D2 series. Okay, like this one, D2X large, which provides 8 CPU cores and 61 GB RAM. And here, coming to storage, EBS volume we are getting one volume, which is about 8 GB. You want to increase the size, you can increase. Apart from that, we are getting instance store volume. If I just go launch instance, I will get only that EBS volume. I don't get instance store volume. Okay, because instance type volume are not included in the template unless modified here. If I want to use them, so click on show details. And here we see it coming with this many volumes. Volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, 5, 6, 7. Like think these are like virtual hard disk attached to your VM, but they are temporary. Both are like virtual hard disks. Okay, both provide block-based storage. Like you create your file system there, like you create partition, you format it. But what is the difference? This is the temporary storage. I will expand volume 2. So I will assign drive letter here. So in case instance storage is like a magnetic HDD, we have to assign this device name path here. In case instance storage is SSD, you no need to provide device ID here. So right now, my EBS volume that's identified as dev xvda, that's a Linux terminology. Even behind scene, Gen hypervisor also uses those terminologies to identify volumes. That is xvda, and this one volume 2, I want to identify it as second disk. So I can give keyword dev sdb or xvdb. We can see keywords it's based on Linux or Windows, xvdl, xvdm. Okay, in case Windows Linux, we don't need to specify any keyword here. Okay, so because Linux uses different terminologies to identify this. The first disk is dev sda, second disk is dev sdb, third disk is dev sdc. In case Windows, it uses like disk 0, disk 1, disk 2 to identify the disks. Okay, here I can select. Then I can click on launch instance, which will be usable in my disk management console within VM operating system. Like volume 3, I can say use this terminology. Okay, assign device name to all volumes. Then you can click on launch instance, and you just run whatever the disk management tool is there. Like in case Linux, you can use tool like a fdisk. You can use fdisk or parted, like fdskl, parted L. So that's going to list whatever the disk adapter, and you can use those tools to create partition. In case of Windows, so we can just use like a disk mgmt command. Disk mgmt command. So that open disk management console. From there, you can manage your disks. So if you look at D2 X large, where you get 4 CPU cores. Okay, so I'm going to confirm the changes. I changed instance type. So number of storage volume changed over here. Like a volume 2, volume 3, volume 4 available. So I want to use them within OS. So we can select those options. Okay, so to see which instance types provides instance storage, you need to look at instance type page. And coming to lifecycle of your EC2 instance, you start your EC2 instance and you can stop your EC2 instance. So stop means what? You are shut down your instance. Either you can do it from operating system Windows side, or you do it from AWS console or using AWS CLI. So stop means it's just going to shut down your VM. Okay, and whenever you want to start that VM, you can start. So terminate means it's going to delete VM. So once terminated, it's gone. You cannot retrieve it back unless you made some backup. And if you want to hibernate your EC2 instance, you can do that. Hibernate feature is available with EC2. So hibernate means like you want to start your server. Let's say you are running some kind of service over there. If you stop, it is going to stop the service, going to shut down the service. Okay, when you start it back, it's going to start OS again, going to load service again. No, you want to start that particular service. Let's say you do not want to get charged for that VM because you are not going to run that server for some duration. So you want to stop that. But as soon as you turn on your service, you need to resume. You need to resume from where it stopped. I do not want to load again OS load service again. In that case, we can go with hibernate feature. Okay, so once your instance hibernated, whatever the data is they write in RAM. So RAM contains whatever right now running in your system. So whenever you turn on hibernate feature, your RAM is going to means your system is going to copy the RAM content to EBS volume, because data in EBS volume will be there, right? When you stop your VM. So when you say hibernate, it's like stopping VM, but it's different from normal stopping. Stopping means delete everything from RAM, then shut down the VM. Hibernate means what is going to happen? It's going to copy your content of RAM to EBS volume, then it's going to stop VM. Once you start VM, so it is going to retrieve the content from EBS volume to RAM. So you get whatever the content previously exists over there. Okay, so in matter of seconds or matter of minute or 2 minutes, okay, based on how much time it's loaded to load your service will come back to previous state over here. So coming to networking, so EC2 provides enhanced networking. Okay, that allows higher bits of packet. Okay, higher bits of packet transfer or receive in given second. Okay, it's like a virtualization based enhanced networking. Okay, and then you can also get high elastic fabric adapter, which provides higher data transfer rates. So this will be useful in case, let's say, you are running multiple VMs within AZ or across AZ. So you want to allow faster communication between those VMs, like for data synchronization or for data replication. Okay, we can depend on elastic fabric adapter and elastic IP address. So this is static public IP address. So when you think about servers, okay, assigning IP address to that server, we can assign IP address manually or automatically. Okay, so in case server, usually we go consider with what static IP address, because we usually use a fixed IP address for our server. Okay, so when you are running your VM in AWS cloud, so you can assign public IP address automatically or manually. If you assign it manually, IP address will be constant. Okay, that is elastic IP address. So you purchase public IP, that is elastic IP address, that will be your IP address within that region. You can assign to some VM, remove from that VM, you can assign to another VM. That you can do. That IP address is yours until you delete it. Once you delete, it's gone. In case automatically assigned public IP address, like you restart VM, automatically assigned public IP address will remain same. But if you stop and start VM, that public IP address is gone. So you cannot get it back. Okay, then coming to cost and capacity optimization. So number of VMs you run, okay, you will be charged. Let's say you are running one VM for 1 hour, you will be charged for 1 hour. You are running 10 VMs, like for 1 hour, you will be charged for 1 hour. Similarly, you are running 5 VMs per month, you will be charged for that. Okay, so coming to capacity optimization, so you can define something called as auto scaling. Okay, let's say you want to optimize the capacity based on the load, like minimum number of VMs or maximum number of VM you are going to run based on workload. We can go with the capacity optimization. There are two options. You can scale manually. Scaling is like adding more servers, removing additionally added servers when they are no longer required. Or you can go with automatic scaling option. So EC2 provides a feature called as auto scaling. EC2 auto scaling. So what this service will do, it will add more VMs when there is load, and it is going to remove added additional VMs whenever there is no load. So while working with EC2 auto scaling, so you can specify like minimum capacity, like maximum capacity. And you also define like decide capacity. Okay, means what, like you can say minimum 2 to 10, minimum 2 to 10, and decide like say you say 4. What your auto scaling will do, let's say it just started now, it's going to launch initially 4 VMs. Okay, then it will adjust to minimum number. Initially, it will launch 4 VMs. After some time, it's going to adjust to minimum 2. Then it's going to automatically add more VMs. So there we can define the policy, like when to launch more VMs, when to remove them. You can define like policies like based on CPU utilization, other metric utilization. You can say if CPU utilization reaches 99% or more than that, it can add more VMs. Let's say we are running 2 VMs minimum. Let's say on these 2 VMs, there is CPU utilization reached more than 99%. What auto scaling will do? It will add one more VM. Let's say on this VM also CPU reached by 99%, it's going to add more and one more VM. Let's say auto scaling recognized on this VM CPU utilization dropped, it's going to remove this VM. Let's say auto scaling recognized on this VM, okay, on one of these VM CPU utilization dropped below 99%, it's going to drop it, and it also going to maintain 2 VMs. Okay, so these are the some features, okay, from EC2 service. So while creating instance, you select instance type based on your application requirement, and select the AMI based on which OS you want. And AMI also comes as, okay, like AMI comes as like pure OS, or it can come as like OS and pre-installed application. Or once the VM created, you can log in and you can install your choice of application. Coming to storage, we have persistent storage, like EBS, virtual hard disk, permanent storage. Data will be there until you delete manually. And storage volume, those are ephemeral storage, temporary storage. But storage volume provides very lower latency, faster access compared to EBS storage. EC2 life cycle, we start, we can stop it, terminate it, we can hibernate. And coming to networking, EC2 provides enhanced networking. Okay, higher bits means how many packets per second transfer. Okay, higher data transfer rates we can see. Elastic fabric adapter, that's another NICOD feature. So which can provide like higher data transfer rate between VMs. Okay, they are running within same region within same availability zone, or maybe they are running across multiple availability zones. And elastic IP. And coming to cost, you'll be charged based on how much you are consuming. So it's like pay as you go model. You consume, then you get the bill. Bill includes detailed information for what you charged, for how many hours, or for how many minutes, like that. You can optimize capacity of EC2 instances, like how many VMs you can run, either using manual scaling method or using auto scaling method.
So, sir, a simple question here. So, you have told about the auto scaling. So, you have told about the desire. So, desire is 4, right? And the maximum up to 10 we can use. Am I right?
Right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, so that's about some EC2 features. I hope this information is informative for you, means this video is informative for you. If you get any questions, so you can type in comments. Okay, I will answer those questions. Thank you guys for watching this video.